Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to some Dust 2 Strat Talk. Today, we're going to be doing an extension of Nerd Talk, basically with Dust 2. So, first off, we're going to go over some B-Site strats. So, for B-Site, we're going to go over mainly CT stuff, because terrorist stuff is usually kind of convoluted, Rushka B, Rush B, etc. We're going to be talking about optimizing CT first. So, for CT side, there's usually good spots to hold. So first off, we're going to go over Spot Shroud, played once in FPL. Naturally, you play at this box, and it's really good because if the T's try to flash you out of tons, you just duck. And then you repeat again. Duck, repeat, duck, repeat. It's a really good position to play for B, and Shroud plays it really, really well. You get to drop off and just play cover. You get to drop off, and you can even just jump back up on this box to play barrels. So good. This is actually one of the best spots to play to defend B, because you get defense from tons, and you get defense from like window and door. You juggle around with these two boxes, and this is one of the strongest positions to play on Dust 2B in Pro Play. Another good position to play is something I really am bad at. Let's see if I could hopefully get this down. Fudge. I psyched out. So basically, you're trying to jump on that little nuglet right there. That freaking little nuglet. I hate it. I'm going to try to do it one more time. There we go. And this spot's usually a spot you could play with an AWP, an AK, a pistol. It's really, really good because it's something that the terrorists would not usually check. The terrorists usually peek like this, and I'm going to show you. The normal peeking strategy is usually peek back plat, peek barrels, then peek the site, then peek window. Notice they peek this, then barrels. Then they're exposed to this one spot. They usually peek like this. Barrels, then they peek sight, but they're not going to like naturally peek like that. They're going to have to flick to you, which is an advantage point. This is also an advantage point. Peek this, the back plat, barrels, then they peek here. If they peek, they usually don't peek this spot, because it's a headshot angle. They can only kill you if they hit your head. So that's why this spot's like one of those angles where you can play where if you only have 10 HP. This spot's really good because a AWPer is less likely to kill you in this spot. And you're likely to catch them off guard when they're naturally peeking. That's why these two spots are really good as surprise spots, because it breaks the natural movement of peeking. Another spot that breaks the natural movement of peeking is this fence spot. I've seen Freiburg play this spot, and usually when people, pro players, noobs, everyone alike, usually when they peek fence, they peek it late. So they peek plat and all that jibber jabber, and then they finally peek fence. They peek back plat, box, site, and they peek fence last. This is usually the last spot that people check. That's why I've seen Freiburg and like Get Right play this spot. It's also a good spot for when it's smoked, because when the terrorists are pushing out of a smoke, they're completely blind. They're completely exposed to this one goddamn spot. I'm going to shoot just so you keep note of that spot. You know what? I'm going to put a spray here so you know that spot. And they know. So once I see the salt spray, damn, I'm screwed. Because usually when you peek out tons, you don't usually peek like this, because you're dead to back plat. You usually peek the spots where the CTs normally play, which is back plat and window first. So, playing that spot, noted, this is a good spot to play when you have a smoke down, because you're almost always going to get killed if they rush B right here. Even if they do this little smoke right here, you still can see it. There's a hole. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with B. B has put the soul out of me. Another thing that you'll see a lot of pro players do is they're going to go cat, but they want to do something other than going from cat to A. And we'll see that a lot of teams do this. The smoke setup is where you line yourself up with this line. You see this black line decal? You go with the line left of it. And then you aim about like a centimeter on this wall up. Throw the smoke. What it should do, it should bounce into CT and allow you to jump into CT spawn. Throw smoke, flash, jump, and anyone in CT is blind. You'll see this done a lot. I've seen Cloud9 run that play plenty of times. I've seen NIP play it once. NIP always mix up their strats though. This smoke is used commonly in FPL, but it's not so commonly used in matchmaking because not that many people know this smoke. Once you get this smoke down, you're good. And this smoke is really good because it blocks off people peeking from B to this little hole right here. Another thing that, to be noted is when they're playing to go to mid to B, they usually put a smoke down here. You can play an op right here to peek doors. If I can get my handy dandy op. Excuse me, sir. May I get an op? Thank you. Okay. When that smoke is down, you could peek across to doors, or you could peek the cross to window. So, if you're playing an op on A and you're peeking for long, never fear, you're still going to be able to contribute because you get to peek through the one way on top of the smoke for a long cross. So that's what Adren has used on Team Liquid, and I've seen Simple use it. I've seen every single pro player use this mid to B smoke as a one-way for these doors. Every single opper. In fact. Alright, here's something that I've made up that I think is absolutely amazing that no one ever does. You go to long, say it's like, hey, we want to smoke CT. So let's do it a different way. I line myself with this little rock right here. Take note. Brown stuff on the wall. Rock that's like flat, like paper. And you aim at this little decal on the rock. And you see the second wire to the right and this little wire. You aim a little bit above. You line yourself up with the second wire on the bottom. And you aim a little bit above this little pole. What it should do this right, is it should smoke CT spawn. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my god. I saw this used in ECA, and it's so good. You could drop into CT. You could use it as to split up CT, so you don't need to worry about peeking the people inside. You just peek the elevator dude, and you just Molotov him out. It's absolutely amazing. It's one of my most favorite strats to use in Dust 2 because it's so good looking. It's so good looking, dudes. Another thing I'm going to share with you is 2 flashbangs. So one flashbang, usually, I already went over this, if you hear a flashbang, you're going to turn away from it because it's audible. You know a flash is being thrown. So you line yourself up with this pole, middle of long, you hold your mouse buttons down, and you aim at the cross. Go to flashbang. What it should do is a perfect flashbang that makes 0 noise and that pops in the air. Best flashbang you can throw is one that makes 0 noise and blinds people in midair with very little reaction time to the flashbang. So if you see them coming out long, they're almost always going to be blind. Anyone in this position is going to be blind for long. That's the best flashbang you can throw for long, by the way. Absolute best. Nothing better than that. Absolute best flashbang for mid to B is lining yourself up with this wall. 2 mouse buttons held down again. Crouch. Aim at the top of this arch. It's not the absolute best. What am I talking about? It's a little bit further back. Should make like 0 noise, but very close to this door. Anything that is thrown very close to this door and pops right here is absolutely amazing because there's very little reaction time. Even though it bounces, the bounce is very, very fast, and usually they won't have time to like flick like that, you know, unless you're some sort of robot or superhuman being. That's not going to happen. Alright, onwards to more adventurous things. Long. Okay, welcome to Long. This is a great place to be. And unfortunately, we're going to tear this place apart with strats. So, usually, when you're at Long, you're usually peeking like this, that, and jibber jabber. But as a CT is usually like Tarek. He'll like break you down. You line yourself up with this wall first off, and you aim at like a little bit to the right of the edge of that window, and you keep looking at that spot, like so. And you release. Fudge, I messed it up. Okay. We'll do that again. Take 2. We're doing it live, folks. Okay. So what that smoke does is it smokes out wide here. And this will, you could use a smoke in the middle as like a one-way. And when you peek this angle, it helps you out a little bit. Because when there's a smoke down, the terrorists kind of like, in their mind, they won't shoot right away. They won't think that you're at the edge of the smoke right away. But once you shoot, they're going to start shooting. Because when you have this smoke down, your natural instinct isn't always, oh, let's fire through the smoke to see if they're there. Your natural instinct says, I can't see through that smoke. They won't always think it's a one-way, but that's usually a play that pro players like to use, where they use a smoke and then they just hide on the edge of it for a long dust 2. That's something that could break you apart with. One thing I'm going to go over is a spot that Daze likes to play every single darn time. Daze plays dust 2. He plays this car spot every single time with an op. He plays car at this spot. Why? Well, we're going to break it apart. So usually Daze plays an op peeking this position. And this position on car holds off cat and long. Cat and long. The only 2 entrances to A, except for CT, but they're never going to come CT. So when you're holding a position for long, you literally cut off long entirely just by standing on this spot. Once they peek out, boom, they're dead. You miss a shot, you have some sort of insurance like smoke and do etc. But once they're smoked out, you just get to hold like cat like this, and everything's good and dandy. You always see Skadoodle, you always see what's his name, Guardian. They always have an op looking at cat for some reason at a perpendicular point for cat, because it's very hard to hit that shot. Usually when you're peeking from cat, you're peeking for goose and you're peeking for sight, but you don't really expect car or a perpendicular angle. That's harder to hit. So this spot is really, really good from a strategical standpoint. Also, usually the opper who holds an angle wins the angle. So if they peek out long from here, they should die if they peek out long, whether far or close. You should be looking close, so you snap up far. They won't usually jiggle peek you like this, like that. They don't usually jiggle peek you like that. They usually jiggle peek the corner because they feel it's faster. And if they jiggle peek you up close, then they get more like space to jiggle peek and get cover faster. They cover more ground when they jiggle peek closer. That's basically why they do that. Most of the strats I have stem for CT play. We're going to go over a little bit of T play, just to mix it up a little bit. So the most important smoke in Dust 2 is the Xbox smoke. If you don't know Xbox smoke, it lands on top of here. So basically I'm going to show you the lower tons one, the one that everyone usually does. They go lower tons, they just go here, and bam, underhand, smoke on top of Xbox. The reason why this smoke is so good is, once you smoke cat, you have access. Cat's basically now connected to lower tons now, and this gives you entire control of mid. And once you have control of mid, you get to go from cat to lower tons. You get to go from lower tons to cat. You get to go from T-spawn to goddamn tons. You get to go from T-spawn to cat. Point made. Once you have control of mid, you have control of the entire map. So once you get this Xbox smoke, which is the most important smoke in the entire game, you're good. So to do this smoke from T-spawn as a entry level kind of thing, you line up these 2 walls right here, this dark wall and this light wall, and you see this building all the way in the distance. You want to aim at the corner of that building, and you line it up. You're going to run forward, and once you hit the wall, you're going to let go. And it does a perfect smoke for Xbox. And that just cuts off the CT player that plays mid right here. Usually the CT player, sometimes when they do spam, they spam the smoke like this. You see this a lot in lower tiered play. But that play is so weak to someone peeking like this. They just go lower tons to mid, and they just kill the opper because he's spamming like an idiot. But you should know that peeking mid doors like this, even when they're not spamming, is really darn good. Because when the smoke is not up, they're still going to be peeking cat like this. They're still going to be peeking cat. The only time they're going to be peeking, like, up close, like for oh my god, I suck. The only time is when they can't see anything cat. They're going to be peeking their push. So, only if they're spamming, and only if you think there's a guy here. I've seen Brax from X iBuyPower play this spot, where he literally just runs to lower tons, runs mid with an op, kills a guy, and calls it a day. That's what Brax does. What some more adventurous players do, like Happy the Lurker and Flamey on what's it called, Navi, they play this spot, where if there's no one peeking op right here, they just walk out and they hold this angle. This angle is really good because it cuts off B from A. You're literally splitting the two sites in half. So anyone from B can't rotate to A. Anyone from A can't rotate to B because you're standing right here, and you just kill them. Plus, you get a good vantage point on cat. Because cat usually peeks like this, and if you're just literally turning around, you got him fragged. This spot's really good because it's in the middle of everything, and it like breaks the pie into 3 separate parts: terror side, A, and B, etc. So, say you're a CT player, and you only have M1, M4, A4, M4, A1. You're smoked out, and you don't know what to play and what to do on mid. A good spot to play is like this. I've seen Freakazoid play this spot, where you play on top of these boxes. Even if they smoke you out here, let's see over the smoke a little bit. Oh my god. You basically are on those boxes, and you just shoot them as they come out mid doors. They usually won't check that spot, but in higher pro players, they're going to be more aware of those boxes. Especially that spot. There's a little one-way over there. I could show you. So you basically go on these boxes, and you jump, you crouch jump the other side. If you're skilled enough. Apparently I'm not skilled enough. You don't need to strafe jump at all, you just need to crouch jump. There we go. And there's a spot that Freakazoid likes to play, which is right here. Slide yourself all the way in. You can do it. Should be able to stand up. There we go. And what you can do is you watch them going to doors, or you watch them going to window. This spot's absolutely amazing because it cuts off mid from B. It's like you're slicing B in half, like one of the entrances in half. They won't expect you in this position. Freakazoid played this position, and he got absolutely wrecked. But that's because Alu, he checked this spot. Because in pro play, every single good spot is well known, and every single good spot will probably be used. So every good spot will probably be countered. So that's only in pro play. In matchmaking, that spot's really good if you could get it down really fast. And even if you're in that spot and they don't go B, you hear them cat, you just go like this. Throw a Molotov, and you're good. You'll hear them jumping onto Xbox, and that's when you do this sort of kind of thing. And then if they're going mid to B, you just do this. These little hinges on this box, and if they smoke, you still see them pushing mid to B. These boxes are really good for countering mid to B plays, and I feel like they're very underused in matchmaking. Another box that is used a lot is this. Where you jump on this corner. It's a faster way to jump on top compared to using these hinges right here on the side. Where are they? Like where you do this. Ugh. You don't use those hinges, you jump. I'm so bad. So you go on cat, and there's a spot that Kenny S plays, which is this spot. So this spot's checked a lot, but usually the rules for an opper is if there's an op holding the spot, the opper will win the battle, holding the percentage-wise. So if there's an op holding right here, you will usually win the battle almost every time. If you miss a shot, don't fear, because you just drop down to CT. So it's either you miss a shot or you get the kill safely without dying. If you're bad, then maybe you hear them on cat and you just do a flashbang like this. It's going to be audible, so they're going to know it's there though. But it makes them turn backwards, you know? Even if it's an obvious flash, they're still going to see this and they're going to turn around. So you just shoot them in the back. It's still a kill. It's still good. You just need to be using your ears. The only counterplay to this is if they walk up. And that's only if you're hiding your entire body on this wall. That's the only time you can do that. What you might see some Smurfs do in Global, playing in Silver, is they'll just get a P90 right here. They'll do that flash. P90, rush, kill them all. Out the window, that's it. So, another vantage point, we're going to put down the spray again. Say this spray is the bomb, right? Bomb's down. You know they can either come from A site or long doors. What are the spots you can play? What's the spot you can play to give you the highest chance of winning the round? Well, let's go over the spots that are bad. If you play here, you die if they come from A site. And if he checks your corner. You die if he checks from door like this with an op. You die from everywhere. So what's a good spot? Like literally everything is bad, even pit. You die if what's it called? He comes around this corner and then he just peeks you like this, or you get mollied out. A good spot is this spot. Jump on this ledge, jump backwards, and you're now on this box. They usually won't check this box because again, it's not in the common peeking, what's it called? Peeking practices. When you peek out long, you usually peek out corner like this, then you peek out this corner of the door. Once they peek the corner of this door, kill them in the head. It's easy. And, or they peek pit. They're not going to be snapping over here. They're going to be peeking back plat like this area. When you say plat, the first area that comes to people's minds is this little box area over here. That little box. They're going to think you're right here when they say plat. So this area is very hard to describe in callouts, and it's a really good point to play in order to catch the enemy off guard in a clutch. And even if they come from long, they're going to be so paranoid about pit and doors that they're not even going to check that spot. They're going to be like, oh, he's not pit, so maybe he's doors. Maybe he's plat. No, maybe he's playing this corner. And usually if they think you're in this corner, they're going to be peeking like this. In this corner. They're not going to think you're up there. That's why ducking is very, very good. Alright. Do I have anything else for you dudes? Oh yes, I have the iBuyPower strats that Adren has shown. So usually, when you throw a smoke here, this is a very, very good one way for an opper playing right here. Usually, when the smoke's down, they won't be able to see you when you hold this position. You hold long corner very easily, and it's very, very good for a long push. But not only is that smoke good for a long push, it's good for pistol plays. So, when you have your pistol out, you buy a smoke, you get to put that smoke up, and you just fight them one by one. They just keep pushing you, you fight them one by one. You get more and more chances with that smoke up. As they're pushing along, there's only one place they can come from, and they're just going to funnel into your smoke. You see that the smoke makes a triangle shape with long, and you just close the triangle up by moving right over and over again, and you just get these headshots by keep moving back. And that's if you know they're not on cat. So, over and over again, over and over again. Is a good way to cherry pick those headshots for long. If you can't aim from long distance, you do that. What Adren showed that he used on iBuyPower. Alright. Okay. So let's go over a little bit of knit and grit, which is basically these spots. These are very commoner spots. So a spot like this is really good for cat when you have it smoked, but in higher pro play they're going to check this spot along with ninja. These are really good spots to hold the CT if you know the enemy team is under pressure under time, because they're likely not going to check these two spots. Alright, let's talk about one post-plant position, which is, say they plant right here. Say this op is a plant position. The best plant position to play is on this box. Even if he knows you're here, he can't do anything about it. So, once he's defusing, you just check if he's defusing. Oh, he's not defusing, you just stay here. He can't do anything about you here. And it should be a free win when you plant safe. Safe is usually a hard spot to defend, but this is the best spot to defend for safe when they're coming from long. If they're coming from cat, you're basically screwed unless you have a smoke down. But this spot is really good as a post-plant position for safe. It's one of the best post-plant positions. So that was some Dust 2 strat talk. I hope you guys got something from this. And thank you folks for watching. If you guys like to see more of these types of videos, please leave a like, rate, comment, or subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you folks in more of these videos.